Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to start this new episode of Symphony Persona Live. We are streaming live from our Lviv office of Symphony Solutions, just as usual. And today, on this online talk show where we meet amazing symphonians and hope to learn some cool personal stories, professional insights, and get inspiration and some good-natured fun, we are talking to a rock IT, or say rocket man, writing his dream. Our very special guest today is a biker, pop connoisseur, guitar maestro, liquor producer, PhD in chemistry, guns master, YouTuber, photo model, a paramedic, as well as loyal owner of his faithful Bullterrier, and happily married to a fellow biker who shares his love for the road. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our distinguished guest, a senior test automation engineer at Symphony Solutions, Andrii Brygas. Hi, Andrew.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
It's such a pleasure to see you. What's happening? How has been life?
It's good. It's good. You know, many things are going around, as you know. So yeah.
Okay.
You know,
yeah. Before we start our talk show, there's lots to talk about, and there's lots of questions we want to ask you. I would love for the audience, because I can see so many people watching us right now. Please let us know where you are watching us from. I can see guys from Nigeria joining. Thank you very much for joining us from all the way from Nigeria. And thanks for being with us. And please let us know down in comments on YouTube, where are you watching us from? This is very important. We really want to know the geography of our talk show. And Andrew, are you ready for the show?
yeah, sure.
Okay. So here on this show, have you by the way, have you ever watched the Symphony Persona live?
Yes, of course I have.
Have you? Okay. So you probably know that this show is not only about us knowing something new about our guest, but also for our guest, we want to have some fun. And we usually start with playing this very famous game, Never Have I Ever. Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's how it works. Very simple. We just want you to raise your right or left hand up, spread your fingers like that. Yes. And then I will state something you supposedly have never done before. If you have done it, though, just put one finger up. Okay. All right. Here's this first one. We're playing Never Have I Ever with Andrii Brygas on Symphony Persona Live. And the first one goes, never have I ever lied to a police officer.
Lied. I think I have.
Oh, of course you have. I mean, everyone has at some point.
But I wasn't stopped for making illegal turn. I have it, and I like, just give me a minute, I will find it. And I was through my phone trying to find it. He was just tied away and said, "Okay, you can ignore it." And
just keep going.
After I came home, I realized I didn't have it.
Okay. Here's the next one. Never have I ever been in a fist fight. When was it last?
One time.
Can you say it again? I think let us know in comments if you guys are hearing Andrew well. because I'm receiving these comments that some of us do not hear Andrew well. Is it true or is it not? We can rejoin if anything. Yeah. Just give us 1 second. Let's see what they say. I mean, they say they can hear me well. They do not hear you well. Can you, by the way, okay, the network seems unstable. All right. Okay. Some connection is wrong. Okay. So is it okay if I ask you to rejoin, or if we could just, yes, there's some interruptions. Yeah, let's see what we can do. Okay. Can you, by the way, can you rejoin really quickly? Are you guys okay to wait? I hope you are. Just give a thumb up down in comments if you're okay to wait for Andrew for like a minute or two so he rejoins, and hopefully we get a better connection with our guest. All right. Okay, that's what we'll do. So Andrew, I would love for you to rejoin this conversation. Yes, and just make sure you're joining the stable network, all right? Thanks, man. We're waiting here. All of us are waiting. Oh, there's quite a lot of us, by the way. Yeah, here's my time. I'm really happy to talk to you guys, just me. But this show is about learning some stories from our Symphonia. So hopefully, in a minute or two, we will have Andrew back. We will talk to this extraordinary Symphonian about all the things we wanted to talk to him. So yeah, give us a minute or two so our guest rejoins and we can continue our talk. Yeah, I can see, yes, Nigeria. I can see Macedonia. Where else? Yeah, let us know in comments. Where are you watching us from? This is very important for us so we can find out. Yes, we should play the Never Have I Ever game with you before he comes. Let's ask Bodan some hot questions. Yeah, let us. Hopefully one day. Hey, Andrew, good to see you back.
Hey, do you hear me better now?
This is better. Well, at least for me, it's better. Our audience has been actively asking if you are coming back and if they could ask hot questions on the show. Yes, you can. By the way, don't forget to ask your questions just along the show. Drop those questions down in comments and our guests will answer all of them, hopefully. And the author of the most exciting, the most interesting, the most tricky question will, by the way, receive a gift from our guest. So, Andrew, where were we? We were playing this Never Have I Ever game, right?
Yeah,
and we had already. Yes, we had 2 fingers down. This last one was Never Have I Ever Been in a Fist Fight. I'm not sure if everyone heard the story about you being in this fist fight lately.
Yeah, it's not lately. It was a long time ago, actually, in my student years. So, but it was more than once. Yeah.
You were defending a girl, I suppose, right?
No.
You're the rocker. Okay, here's this next one. Never have I ever pranked someone, have you?
Pranked?
Yes.
I think I have. I'm not really a big fan of pranks, but I think it happened a couple of times in my life.
Who was the victim of your prank?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago. Usually it's friends or people who I live with. I used to live in a dorm for quite a while, so there are many people, enough to prank, you know.
All right. Okay, and we've prepared this time specially for you a few statements for Never Have I Ever game that are related to you and your biography. So, never have I ever played guitar standing on top of a bar counter.
I think I haven't.
Okay.
I have played guitar. I have played guitar standing on top of the mountain, by the way,
Wow. Okay.
but not on the bar
You will
counter.
have to tell us more about this a bit later, okay? Never have I ever conducted a chemistry experiment that resulted in explosion.
I have, and it was also more than once. It was multiple times because when you do a lot of experiments, you cannot guarantee that everything will go fine. So, yeah, sometimes they fail.
Did you put the building on fire?
No, the liquid that exploded was not flammable. Actually, it exploded due to high pressure in the system, and all the components of the system were made of glass, so they just broke into pieces. And it all spilled all over my face and chest, and I had to wash my face with hydrochloric acid. Yeah,
Were you okay?
I was okay. I was lucky enough. I closed my eyes very quickly, so it didn't hurt me. But since this liquid was basic, um, so they gave me a weak solution of hydrochloric acid to wash this all off my face.
Okay. Let's just keep on going. Here's this next one. Never have I ever taken my dog on a motorcycle ride.
No, I haven't. I had only two dogs in my life. Both were Bullterriers.
Oh,
Bullterrier is kind of a little bit too big to take on a bike.
okay. Never have I ever tasted my own signature liquor alone.
Of course, I had. I have,
Okay.
every time I make it, I have to make sure it's of decent quality before I give it to anyone else. So yeah, so I do this quite often actually.
And after a stressful meeting, right?
No.
So once again, please, all of you guys watching us on YouTube, please consider that, yes, our guest is a liquor producer, and we will talk about it a little bit, in a few minutes. But the author of the most exciting, the most interesting, the most tricky question asked to our guest will receive a what?
Receive a bottle of my liquor.
A
Yeah.
bottle of a signature liquor from Andrew Brygas. Okay, so you can start asking questions right now in comments, and we are moving on. We have like two sections of questions usually on Symphony Persona Live. One of them is big questions, where we talk about your personality and your biography and your life story a little wider. But we also have these quick questions where we want you to ask each question as soon as it's asked, like immediately. And it has to be the first thing that pops in your head. Okay.
Okay.
Ready for those?
Yes, sure, go ahead.
Let's do it. So, what's the weirdest thing you ever did to make money?
To make money?
Yes.
Huh. I must be boring because I haven't done really weird things to make money.
What was the most exciting thing you ever did to make money?
Most exciting working at Symphony Solutions, of course.
Oh, thank you so much for saying this.
But I have the most unusual thing I would say. I would outline two. I was taking part in a photo shoot as a model, as you've already mentioned that. So it was pretty unusual and unexpected even for me. I didn't plan that, and I never wanted to be a photo model, but things happen. And the
Did you make
second
good
sin,
money?
no, not much, but anyway,
Did you like
uh,
it?
yeah, it was interesting.
What was the
And the
second
second
one?
sin was that's actually not something to be proud of, but when I was a student, I helped other students to pass their exams for money. Yeah, so this is
So,
kind of cheating, but you could.
so a biker, a guitarist, and a nerd.
Yeah.
So you were that good of a student, right?
I don't know if this counts as that good, but I was good at chemistry, and usually our whole group of people were divided into three smaller groups. Each one would pass their exam at different day. So first day, for example, first day I'm passing my own exam, and the second and third day I'm available to pass someone else's. So that's what I did.
Nice. Okay, here's this next quick question. What's the most rebellious thing you did as a teenager?
I wasn't rebel as a teenager, actually. I was so,
What's your
I
best
was
memory
I
from
was
your
I was pretty
teenage?
quiet, and
Where are you?
yeah, I was pretty quiet as a teenager, and very, I lived by the rules and stuff like that. The rebellious things started happening, I think, after I turned maybe 17 or 18. One of those was my piercing, actually. I got my first piercing when I was 21, I guess. My mom hates piercing, and my mom, my dad, my grandparents, they hated that, but I did it anyway.
Well, I'm sure your earrings is not the only type of piercing you have, but we'll talk about that after. Here's another quick question. Name something that you are obsessed with right now.
Obsessed with right now.
Yes.
I am obsessed with music, and I have always been. Yeah.
Very nice. And that's another big part of our today's talk show. And there's another quick question. One of my favorites. If you had an unlimited supply of one thing, what would that be?
Health.
Oh, yes,
That
of
would be
course.
health, because you can earn everything else.
Of course. Totally agree. And this last one is, what do you want for birthday?
A new bike.
Another one or a new one?
I may add
Of course.
one on this one. How many motorcycles does a biker need to be happy?
No. How many?
One more.
Okay, so you want that was my question. Do you want one more or do you want a new one?
I want one more. Yeah.
Okay, I hope your friends and your beloved wife are watching us and now they know what you want for birthday. So now for big questions. Of course, this first one will be about bikes. And I know that as a child, you dreamed of a Harley-Davidson.
Yeah.
So how does it feel when your dream of life is finally turning into reality?
Feels great, actually. uh, Harleys is still my favorite bikes, so yeah, it feels good.
Yeah,
It, the motorcycle gives you the sense of freedom that a car wouldn't give you, even though a car is way more comfortable.
how old
But
were you when you got your first bike?
I was 27,
Oh, that is
so
early.
yeah, I had pretty long way to go,
Yeah.
but it happened. And I have to say, when I was a kid, I was a big car fan. I had all those kind of stickers with cars. I had the magazines with cars. I watched Formula One and etc. etc. So, and by the way, just by a chance, in one of those car magazines, there was an article about motorcycles, and I saw these pictures of nice Harleys, and I was like, I want that. And
Yeah.
years went by, but I never forgot that feeling that I won that motorcycle, and I finally got it.
How many bikes have you owned by now?
5 as of
5
now.
already.
Yeah.
All of them were Harley-Davidsons.
No, the first one was a rather cheap Chinese bike. Then the second one was a 750cc Honda Shadow.
Oh,
And then the third, fourth, and the fifth were Harleys. Yeah.
okay. Well, then here's the question from our audience. That one is, by the way, from Olha Kovalchuk, and I had the similar question. Olha is asking, what was the best trip on your motorbike? And yes, I really wanted to ask this similar question.
Can I name 2?
Of course, you can name as many as you want, as
Okay.
long as you are excited about them.
So I had a bunch of really nice trips, but to outline 2 of my favorites, the first one was in 2019. We went to Romania with my wife, both on separate motorcycles. Yeah, so we went south from Lviv to see the Romanian part of Carpathian Mountains. There is this famous road called Transfagarasan, Romania. So we went there to see it, and it is really, really beautiful. People say it's on the top 5 list of the most beautiful highways in the world. I have to agree with that. Yeah. And the second one was in 2020, when the world was already struck with COVID, but they gradually started to put down some limitations in summer. I went to Odessa all alone, and that was a very, very good trip. I rode my bike for 7 days straight. I left from Lviv, then I went to Zhytomyr region because I have relatives there. I wanted to see them. Then I went to Kyiv just to have a coffee with a friend. And then from Kyiv, I went straight to Odessa. And then I spent one night in Odessa, and then I went more to the south to see the Odessa region, and I went to Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky and Zatoka and that region. So I spent 3 more days there. Had some rest at the sea, just lying on the beach, drinking beer and
Was your
chilling.
wife okay with you traveling by herself?
Yeah, because she's also a biker, and she knows what it is, and she knows that sometimes I just need to have time for myself.
Oh, wow. How did you guys meet, by the way?
Because of motorcycles. I was riding
Really?
alone that day, and I was bored. So all of my friends were busy. I called a bunch of friends. Everyone was busy. And I am like, okay, I will just go downtown. There is this place in the center of Lviv where bikers meet regularly. So I I just decided I should go there, and I certainly will meet someone there. So I met my wife. Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, and your first date was riding a bike?
kind of. She was there with a bunch of her friends. They all had their own bikes. They were just sitting there chatting, and I'm like, "Oh, girls, whose Harley is that?" And she's like, "It's mine." And I was like, "Can I sit on it?" I was looking to buy Harley for me, and I was just curious to try if the seat fits me and stuff like that. So yeah, we just started chatting, and we've chatted for a few hours straight, and then next day we went for a ride, and then things got together.
That is sweet. It is sweet. Well, name 3 things you love about motorcycles most.
3 things I love the most. The first of those 3 things, I think, must be the sound. I think one of the main reasons why I choose Harleys over any other brand, because they have the best sound out there on the market. I like this low bass sound in motorcycles. I don't like the sound of sport bikes. I prefer this, low bass sound. So yeah, Harley's got that, and they even had their valves in the cylinders specifically designed to produce that sound. It is patented, and yeah, so that's one of the main reasons.
Okay.
The second one is the sense of freedom when you're riding on the open air, and you tend to lean your bike very often when you make the turns. So if it gives you a sense, it's some way close to a sense of flight or something. Yeah, so as I've said, it's much less comfortable than in a car, but much more exciting. And the third thing I love about motorcycles is the community. I've met so
Oh,
many great people just because of riding the motorcycle that I am 99% sure I wouldn't have met on a car. Because on a car, you just usually go from point A to point B because you don't have to have so much rest. You just start and you go. And you're in this enclosed environment, you rarely speak to different people. But on a motorcycle, you make stops to refill your gas, to have a coffee, to take a rest, to stretch your arms and legs. And sometimes you just meet random people, other fellow bikers. Sometimes you make friends with them, and yeah, that's a pretty big, large community.
oh, for sure. That is impressive. And it's a whole culture, right? Riding a bike and those
Yeah, it
bike
is.
clubs. Yeah.
It it
Speaking
only
of, uh-huh.
you mentioned the culture. Only now it starts to be a culture in Ukraine. Because in United States, for example, it was a culture a long time ago. I think 70, 80 years ago, it was already a culture. In Ukraine, it starts happening right now. The first motorcycle clubs appeared in Ukraine just about 15 to 20 years ago. So that's when it starts to turn into culture. It's not just a transportation anymore. It really is a culture.
Of course. Well, they say going to pubs is a part of bikers' culture, and it says that you are a pub connoisseur. So my question here would be, what are the most unique and memorable pub experiences you've ever had during your travels?
I can tell you about one. It was not during a travel, but it happened just yesterday. Uh, yeah, yesterday I was in a pub. I was visiting a friend of mine. Some of you may have heard of him. His name is Alexander Krava. He's an owner of Krava Cut brand, the brand that makes handmade knives.
Hmm.
So he made a beer in collaboration with a Rebrew brewery from Kyiv region. And yesterday they had a presentation of this beer in a pub uh, downtown in Lviv. So I visited this presentation. I had a lot of fun. I spoke with my friends. I met Krava himself. I now have a cool beer glass with the logo of those companies. And yeah,
Yeah, what do you like most about going to pubs? Meeting people? Is there anything else?
the atmosphere, I like beer, but just drinking beer at home is not the same. What I like in pubs is the atmosphere. So you usually go there with friends and you have a nice time. That's what makes you feel that you had some rest. You
Mhm.
reset your brain, because just drinking for the sake of drinking is not that fun actually.
What's your favorite beer?
Favorite beer, I had three beer brands that are my favorites. If we talk Ukrainian beers, it's Varvar and Tsipa. Those are
Okay.
two craft beer brands that are my favorite in Ukraine. And if we talk about foreign beers, my favorite is Brewdog. It's from England.
Okay. So if you brew your own signature beer, what would it taste like?
I don't know. It would be bitter for sure. I don't like sours. I'm not a big fan of wheat beers also, so I'm a fan of ales. So it would be something ale-ish, like
Elish,
IPA or APA, something like that. Hoppy for
love
sure.
it.
By the way, the one that they presented yesterday was also an IPA. It was mango infused New England IPA. Very good
Uh,
one.
what would be the name of your own signature beer?
Have no idea. I
Yeah,
have to think about
you
that.
guys can come up with an idea for Andrew's signature beer or Andrew's signature liquor down in comments, by the way. Keep asking questions. Here's this next question. And that was, by the way, another big question I wanted to ask. Volodymyr Dorosh left this comment. Andrii, go grab a guitar and let's rock. So I cannot agree with this more. And before, I know you have your guitar with you, but before you grab the guitar and hopefully play something for us, I wanted to ask you a very simple question, but what actually inspired you to pick up the guitar, and how does music in general influence your life?
It doesn't influence my life now too much because unfortunately I don't really have time to play in a recent year or so. But before it used to influence me pretty much because it was a big part of my regular activities. I played in band. We used to, go to shows, play concerts. It was fun. And what influenced me, the first rock band that I really liked when I was a kid were the Scorpions. So yeah, simple as it gets. Songs that influenced me was "Still Loving You." It has this soft melodic intro, but then it goes into heavy riffs at the end. So I really like those riffs, and I decided I want to be able to play that.
So learn how to play it.
Yeah,
Wow.
and then a
So,
couple of years after that, Metallica released the new video. It was new back in the day in 2000, in year 2000, I think. It was I Disappear. They are playing on top of this big mountain. There's those they have those kind of mountains in the, how do you call this, Grand Canyon, something like that. They are this rectangular shaped mountains. They're standing on top of the mountains and playing, and the video guy is flying on a helicopter around them. And this video was so cool,
who
yeah,
taught
it
you
made me wanna.
who taught you how to play the guitar?
I actually was learning it by myself mostly. I had some lesson books, then video lessons when internet became more available. There are plenty of video lessons on the internet. So
Well, at that time you were not a symphonian, were you? No.
sorry.
At that time you were not a symphonian, were you?
No, no, no. It was long before I became a symphonian. But I would say I would not advise anyone to do that because uh, actually working with teacher gives you much better and much faster progress than working all alone.
That's why I was saying that, because we have this mentoring program at Symphony Solutions. So if you were a symphonian at that time, you would be able to have a mentor who would probably also teach you how to play the guitar as well. Um, it's about time to ask our extraordinary guest to play the guitar. Would you please?
Yeah, I happen to have one with me. I think it's better if I switch off my background, right? Because
Yes, if you want so. How many guitars do you have, by the way? Do you have more than one?
I have three right now. I used to have four sometime before, but some of those stick with me, some of those don't. I'd sell them and buy different ones. So now I have three. Yeah, and this is one of them.
Okay, if you bring the camera down a little bit, yes,
Yeah,
thank you
yeah.
very much. Now we can
Yeah.
see you. If there's a song that you guys want to hear from Andrii, type it in the
I
comments.
don't do song
Nope.
requests.
You don't?
Yeah, but I
We are
can play.
so ready. We are so ready. We are giving a standing ovation right at this second, and we are so
Yeah,
ready.
let's go with something like this, right? Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I love AC/DC, of course. Do you guys know the name of the song? Of course you do. If you do, just type it in the comments. Yeah, I see people sending lots of reactions down there in comments. They loved you playing. Is there any, I mean, you said you don't do song requests. Would you do one for me if I ask it?
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, when I was a kid, I found this tape with the Deep Purple recordings, and like actually, my first rock song I've ever listened to was "The Smoke on the Water," and that really impressed me so much. Would you play that for me if you can?
Yeah, you're lucky I know this one because I don't do song requests because I'm a bit out of shape right now because as I've said I really don't have time to play recent months, but Smoke on the Water is not that hard, so here we go.
Oh wow! Thank you so much, man. I mean, I went back to those childhood years and this small little house I was born in. Wow. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for your
You're
music.
welcome.
Thank you for your knowledge. I mean, and thank you for sharing this music knowledge in our music lovers band. I've noticed you all the time posting some really exciting new facts about music, about bands. Keep doing that. Big round of applause from the audience. Everybody is happy about you playing some for us. So we still have questions down there in comments. Please keep asking those questions, and hopefully you will be the one who gets a bottle of a signature liquor from our guest, Andrii Brygas. I really wanted to talk to you about liquors because that's another passion of yours. We now know that you produce your own signature liquors. Where did that idea come from? And I mean, how long have you been doing this? What kind of liquor it is? Tell us all
That
about it.
idea, I'm actually a fan of whiskey, so I wanted to make my own whiskey, but it's pretty complicated procedure. So, and I don't really have space for that now because you need to have those oak barrels and a lot of other stuff. I just really don't have space for that. So just, I wouldn't say I abandoned this idea. I just postponed it to a far future. But about those infused drinks that I make now, I was actually inspired by my colleague Volodymyr Kuprysuk, who I hope is here. So
Oh, he is. He's so
thank you for
active
that.
down there. Yeah, yeah.
I was inspired by him because he once at our regular everyday chat he told me he's making his
Booze.
liquids too. So I decided I should try to, and so I did. Yeah, and first couple of bottles I just made them for myself. Then when I really liked them, I decided I should also give my friends to try them out. And yeah, and that's how it went. Then I came up with an idea of this small craft brand. So now my infused drinks are branded as Характерник. Yeah.
Wow. What is it? What does that name mean?
Характерник is a special kind of a Cossack who possesses magical powers, you know.
Okay, so your liquor is magic.
I don't know really if it is magic or not, but it can make you forget your way home.
Has this ever happened to you or any of your friends?
Not to me, for sure. I have a good autopilot, by the way.
So you mentioned, I mean, you said they are infused. So what are the tastes of those liquors that you produce?
I currently have 5 different tastes in my line. Let's call it line, right? So it's how do you call it? I forgot.
What is it?
Oh, it's not a blackberry, but it's other thing that's small and black.
Blackcurrant?
Blackcurrant, yeah. So
Yeah.
the blackcurrant taste, then raspberry taste, cherry taste, orange taste, and the fifth one is potekač, which is not, linked to any specific berry or something. It's just old Cossack drink infused with different sort of spice. It's a little bit spicy, but it's at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah,
so which one do you give to the winner of the questions contest?
I haven't yet.
Okay. So we do have questions, and of course, this question from Volodymyr Kuplisyuk goes: did you ever drive a bike after having a beer? Truth only.
I have to admit, yes, and not only a beer. But I'll never do that again. Nothing bad happened to me. It was quite a bunch of maybe 2 or 3 times. But one of them, I was fairly drunk. I gave myself a little bit of rest, so I hadn't been for maybe 2 or 3 hours on. I don't.
Hey Andrew, I think we're losing you again. Is it okay if I ask you to rejoin once again and check your network, because it seems a little bit unstable? Once you rejoined, it was a lot better. So if you guys are okay to wait another few seconds for Andrew to rejoin, keep asking your questions. Andrew will be back in a minute and we'll ask all the questions. Okay. Here we go. It's probably because of the weather here in Ukraine, but as long as you guys ask questions when Andrii is back, I hope he will answer all of the questions you got for him. Yeah. And yes, do not forget that Andrii has a gift for the author of the most exciting, most interesting, and the most tricky question that you guys asked today on the Symphony Persona Live. Our guest today is Andrii Brygas. There he comes back. Okay. Here we go. Yes. You're back. Thank God.
Yeah.
Yes.
So do you hear me better now?
Yes, we do. I think it's just because of the weather.
Okay, so continuing on that one, nothing bad happened to me that day, and I was also not caught by police or anything, but I was pretty scared I realized what could have happened to me. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, we have another question, and that one goes, did you ever drive a bike during having a beer? I hope that did not happen. The question is from Volodymyr.
Again?
Did you ever drive a bike during having a beer?
Didn't have it. That's not possible, but because you know, you have to control the right hand. I could guide it.
I'm really sorry, man, but if you can hear me, I would love to ask you to rejoin once again because we are losing you so bad. We barely can hear a word. If you can just try to choose another network or try to fix anything, because we were losing you really badly. Please try to rejoin, and we'll be waiting for you right here, okay? Wow, what a day. Anyhow, I can see all of your questions here. Yeah, keep going, keep asking more. Hopefully we get Andrew back and we will have a better connection with him, and we will get all the answers to all of our questions. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Alrighty, hopefully this time it goes better. Yes, hopefully
It's
this
funny
time it goes
because
better. Yeah.
from my side it says the connection is stable as it can be, so
Wow.
it's different.
Well, it is unfortunate, but it doesn't stop us. Okay. So yeah, we were talking about you riding a bike and having a beer at the same time.
I mean, it's people who just want to do a demo, like you know, go somewhere at enclosed, I don't know, parking lot or something, and just show that it is possible. But what's the point? You know?
Yeah. Okay. We have another question from Olia again. What goal have you recently have achieved and you are really proud of it? Wow, that's a beautiful question. What was the goal that you've recently achieved and you're really proud of it?
Oh, it the for so I recently Vegas our yeah. Managed to all my friends are able to buy a car.
Listen, I think there's a problem with your computer or something else. Do you want to, because I know you're somewhere very close to me. If you want to come over and join me in this conversation here in the studio, yes, just go ahead and quit the call and join me here in the studio. It will be another second and it will be a lot easier for us to talk. Okay. Would that work for you? Yeah, come on, come and join me. Here we go. Behind the scenes. Andrew Brygas is joining us in our studio. This is something new. There he comes, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Andrii Brygas. It was so funny. We were in two different rooms, but now there he is. Okay, I'm gonna grab this other laptop where we have questions from the audience. Wow, this is something new for Symphony Persona Live. A Symphony Persona Live. Good to see you, buddy. Okay, so
as live as it can get.
yes. Let us know if you can now hear as well, please. Now you can see all of the two of us. You can hear as well, I hope. And let's just move on with the questions. So we did have this question from Oля, and it was about the achievement that you've recently, a goal that you've recently have achieved, and whether or not you are proud of it and how much you are.
Yeah, so the most recent is I happen to be volunteering for our army now, and I recently was able to buy a car for the guys fighting in the front. So we gathered the necessary amount of money with my friends, and yeah, I was able to buy a car, and it's already at the front lines.
How much was it?
It was $5,000.
Jeez, how long did it take you to raise that amount of money?
About a month.
Oh,
So which is cool, I think, because it proves I have a lot of friends.
of course it is. And that is, by the way, I must admit, a wonderful question from Oля Kovachev. Okay, keep that in mind. Yeah. And here's another question. Well, Vladimir Dorosh was guessing that the song. It's okay. I mean, we had those issues, and now you want them all to see that it's a Mac.
The camera is in this one, right?
It's right there. Yes,
just to get it down
that's
a little bit.
Yeah,
like
that's the one that we're working to. So yes, Vladimir Dorosh was guessing that the song you played was Back in Black.
Yeah, the first one.
The first one.
And then
Okay.
there was another one.
Yes, he also wants a bottle of that liquor. And here's a really good question from Kostya Komarov. Where do you plan to ride after our victory? Wow.
Oh, it's a tough one because it not always goes as you plan. For now, it's more like a dream, not as a plan. But anyway, I would really love to go to Cabo da Roca in Portugal. Yeah.
I think we have someone from Portugal watching us right now.
That's my long time dream. I was actually hoping to go there somewhere in 2021 or 22, but first the COVID struck, and then all the other stuff. So yeah, I wasn't able for now. But also one other destination is I was having plans to visit Sweden last year. Because I'm on my way into a motorcycle club right now, and we have a chapter in Sweden, so I wanted to visit them.
Okay.
And I will after the war ends.
Well, you said you are on your way to joining a club.
Yeah.
Were you not a member of a club before?
I wasn't, and I have to say, joining a motorcycle club is pretty a long way. Yeah.
You don't just sign up online and
No, it's not. It's actually a long way full of adventures. It could be a topic for another, for whole another section.
Okay.
But if short, you have to learn to trust those people, and you have to also gain their trust. That's why it's a long way. It usually takes between 2, 3, 4 years to be a member.
So now your application, say, has been accepted or is being accepted.
It's being accepted. It's still being reviewed.
Oh, so
Yeah.
So one of the steps that you need to take is going to Sweden, or did I get you wrong?
No, that's not. It doesn't have to be Sweden. One of the steps is you have to visit a foreign chapters. We have chapters close in Sweden. We have a chapter in Poland, in Lithuania, and a few other countries. But I just wanted to go to Sweden.
So I wish you best of luck joining that club, of course.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to and get back to these questions. Another question from a big fan of you, a big friend of yours, Volodymyr Kupisu. Oh, it's not a question. It's a comment. He says, "You become a magician after drinking." Hopefully, you do.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, if crushing dishes counts as a magic, then yes.
As long as you are a magician when making them. It's not a connection issue. It's Harley wants to write, says Kostya Komaro. Great comment from Kostya.
That's true.
Yeah, thanks for your support, Kostya, and thanks for being with us, guys. I mean, we talked so many things. We talked about so many different aspects of your amazing life story. The only thing I wanted to ask you about also was about your career as a professor at the university. I mean, you have this PhD.
I actually wasn't a professor.
Okay.
I was a scientific researcher.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a PhD in chemistry, but I never worked as a professor. I used to have some classes here with students, not much, once a week, but that was my side duty. My main duty was to perform research. Okay. So that's what I did. I was a scientific researcher.
How did it end up? You did receive your PhD, right?
Yeah. The goal of the whole work was to receive a PhD, and while you're working on a PhD, you have to make something new that would count, that would be regarded as important enough for the science. Mm-hmm. So I performed hundreds of different experiments. You asked, there was a question about does the stuff blow up or not? It does sometimes. Sometimes experiments fail. When you performed a few hundred of them, there's just no way that everyone will be successful. So sometimes they fail. Sometimes you just don't obtain what you wanted. You obtain some rubbish, and sometimes they fail badly. Something explodes. One of my colleagues in our lab he was distillating an organic acid, mm-hmm. and it started polymerizing spontaneously. So liquid turned into solid like in a second. So this made the pressure in this distillator drop dramatically, and he was just able to run away from the table, and the whole thing exploded, and this crushed the system in such tiny pieces that we were barely able to found them. The system had a 300-degree mercury thermometer in it, so this whole mercury was evaporated. And the thermometer, which is made of glass and has a plastic scale inside of it, the scale was crushed in so tiny pieces that we never found it.
Did he survive?
He survived. He didn't sustain any damage because he was able to hide. He ran away from the table and hid before this wooden panel that we had.
Okay, we have like 1 minute left. Unfortunately, we had these issues with the connection, and we can do a lot more, but still I really need to, or I really have to ask you this question. You are a PhD in chemistry. How did you end up being an IT specialist and being such a really cool one?
It was actually pretty hard because I was learning QA basics and programming basics while writing my PhD work at the same time. Because when I was defending my PhD thesis, I already knew that I wouldn't stuck in university for long, because there was an economical crisis back then in Ukraine, and my salary just grew so small that I had to change something in my life. So that's why I decided to try and go into IT.
Yeah. How do you like it?
I like it so far.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough that I got into projects that still requires chemical background. Mm-hmm. So all my knowledge can be applied at least to some extent.
Of course. Yeah. That's a big look. Yeah, we are here streaming live from the office of Symphony Solutions, and this is Symphony Persona live as can be. We have Andrii Brygas as our guest today, and one of the features of our talk show is winning a prize from our guests for the most interesting, exciting, or tricky question or comment during the show. So we have Vladimir Kuprisu commenting and asking you tons of questions. Kostya Komarov, of course, we had this question from Volodymyr Dorosh. We have this brilliant question from Olga Kovalchuk, of course. And yes, I guess that is all. Oh, and we have this one other beautiful question from Kayode from Nigeria. That is what you call work-life balance, all the activities for one man. Yes. Oh, that was probably the comment when I introduced you to the audience. Yeah. Thank you very much, Piotr. Thanks for watching us, and thank you for this comment. So who gets the bottle of your beautiful signature liquor?
A tough one, so many questions. Let's say it's going to be Vladimir Kuprisu.
Of course, for whatever he asked or commented. But Volodymyr, as you're watching us and you're commenting and asking questions, and as you are the inspiration for Andrii on producing his own signature liquors, you are receiving this prize from our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. This was Symphony Persona live as could be. We had our wonderful guests very excited about it. This was Andrii Brygas. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon, and I hope to see you guys very, very soon with our next episode of Symphony Persona Live. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.